First of all, before we start, I want to thank Anthony, I want to thank James, Catherine for putting this event on, for inviting me out. Incredible that you're all here today, very excited, and I'm thrilled to be here in Melbourne. Testament to the power of Twitter and the internet, Anthony reached out to me and a couple of my counterparts in Phoenix, 5 months ago, 6 months ago. He was in the US and he wanted to stop by and talk to us and hear what we did. And great guy, was really impressed with him, and now I'm here, so it's amazing what Twitter can do for us. I also want to thank the good folks at the AFL who I met with yesterday, as well as Essendon Football Club and the Bush Rangers. Really have been impressed with everybody here, and I feel like I've been treated like royalty with the way you guys have taken me in and given me lunch and given me a footy and let me hold your Sheffield Shield, and it's been pretty amazing and overwhelming, to be honest. Very excited to be here. As Ed mentioned, I also want to thank Ed, of course, and Harf, who had me in studio on SEN a couple days ago. Had me in for almost 45 minutes. Had a blast doing that. Very exciting. But as Ed mentioned, it's a little hot in Phoenix right now. If I did the math correctly, it's 46 degrees Celsius in Phoenix at the moment, which was 115 Fahrenheit. So very excited to be here and be able to pull out my scarf, which I use about once a year, and have been wearing it the last few days, so that's exciting for us. Before I start, this is the first time I've been in Australia. I've been traveling around the United States, though, the last year and a half, talking about what we're doing on social media with the Phoenix Suns. Been in New York, LA, Chicago. I've been asked to go to Peru, although I didn't make that trip. But I like to always start my presentations with a little social media experiment and kind of give you an example of how we use Twitter at the Suns in a lot of ways. So I brought some items here. I brought some Suns t-shirts, social media t-shirts from our different social media events that we've done that I'm going to give away, as well as an authentic Phoenix Suns jersey signed by Leandro Barbosa, one of our point guards. And I'm going to give that away and each of the shirts away to somebody in the room. All you have to do to enter is send a tweet to @SunsWebmaster. Say anything you want. I'm not trying to bribe you into talking about how great I am or anything, but just send a tweet to my Twitter name, and I will randomly scroll through all my @replies at the end of the event and pick 4 people to receive these prizes. So, if you follow the NBA at all, you probably have heard the reports that one of the players on the screen is leaving the Phoenix Suns, will not be with us here shortly. We're in an NBA moratorium, which means I can't officially comment on any free agents or rumors or trades or signings, so I can't say anything, but other than to say I'm going to have to obviously revise my PowerPoint presentation. But there have been a lot of changes, as Ed talked about some of the changes he's seen, but I've seen an incredible amount of changes in my 18, 19 years with the Phoenix Suns. I don't show this picture of me very often. I look like I'm about 10, but I'm actually, I think, 23 in that picture. But during the 19 years, we've had 5 different general managers. We've had 8 head coaches, more than 150 plus players. We've changed uniforms. We've changed logos. We changed the name of our arena and renovated it, did a $90 million renovation of the arena. We even changed owners about 6 years ago. But by far, the biggest change I've seen in our organization and in the industry of sports is just in terms of technology. It's incredible to think back in 92, 93 when I started that all of the photography was film. We had to look through thousands of slides, with a little loop up to the light to pick out which pictures we were going to run in our team magazine. Nobody had cell phones. Nobody had Blackberries. No email. Everything was sent around the office through inter-office envelope, or people actually used the telephone to call other teams or cities outside of Phoenix. And we had no internet. I still remember when the NBA sent around a memo to all of the teams, which was of course faxed to all of us, explaining that they were going to launch an internet portal on the World Wide Web, the information superhighway, I think is how the memo read, in 1995, and I had no idea what they were talking about. Our PR director didn't know either and handed the memo to me because I worked on our team magazine. I was kind of the writer on the staff, and she said, maybe you can help with this. And I remember the memo said that there was going to be schedules and roster and box scores, and again, was just blown away by the concept. Had no idea that what they meant at all. I don't know if any of you have visited the Internet Wayback Machine. It's online. Great website to look up what old websites, what your website used to look like years ago. December 96 is the oldest I could get for NBA.com. It actually launched in November of 95. But obviously a lot of changes there as well. Originally the NBA hired a company called Starwave out of Seattle to develop, manage, write the content, create the content for NBA.com. They also managed ESPN.com, NFL.com, I think NASCAR maybe. So they were sort of a powerhouse early on in the mid-90s in terms of sports websites. They also managed the team sites at the very beginning and eventually turned over the team sites to each of the teams, with the exception of they did the hosting. They kind of would update. We would email them the articles or FedEx them a disc with photos that we wanted to be online. And so they handled that early on. In about 2000, the NBA took NBA.com back in-house. They hired a whole interactive services department, which handled the website at that point. Again, the team still had the majority of control over their own site and still do today. And in 2008, the NBA sold the rights to Turner Sports. The rights were for NBA.com as well as NBA TV and NBA Entertainment. And Turner had been a longtime broadcast partner of the NBA. So they took it all in-house, and they, very similar to Starwave back in the day, they also manage the PGA, they manage CNN.com. I believe they're involved in NASCAR, so they've got a wealth of experience in terms of online websites and big brands. So they've been great to work with since 2008. NBA Digital has, that's what they're called now, the Turner's group is called NBA Digital. Primarily they focus on NBA.com, and the teams still have their own control of their sites, but they've also really brought a lot to the table and developed some new products for the teams, which have been really valuable for us. Good example of that is the TV Companion, which I'm showing an example of here from the Cavs. They built this, they call it a TV Companion because they feel like it enhances your game viewing experience. So fans at home will open up their laptop as they're watching the game in their living room, and the home pages of each of the team's websites are replaced by this TV Companion. And it's a little hard to see here, but there are a number of tabs there that show the live score, the live stats, play-by-play. This is the picture of the shot chart. There's also a live chat going on for fans around the world to be chatting at the same time about the game. And it's dramatically increased our traffic to our website during games. Before, fans would come to the site as soon as the game was over to read the post-game recap or see the photos or the video. Now fans are engaged in our site as the game is going on, increasing page views, impressions for the sponsors. Kia is the Cavs partner of their TV Companion. Ours is Quest, which is our local internet and cable provider. And it's increased time spent on site as well. NBA Digital, just in the last year, has really gotten into mobile. Teams for several years have had their own text programs, their own text alert programs, as we have. We send out breaking news alerts, promo alerts, discounted ticket offers to a number of different subscriber lists for our text program. But the NBA Digital has created a whole new mobile platform. They are allowing fans to vote for the All-Stars each year, for the MVP at the end of the season. They also have built mobile websites for each of the teams, as well as they just introduced apps this season. They were the first pro sports league to offer apps for every single team on all of the platforms from iPhone to BlackBerry to Android. So they've really done some good things there, which is exciting as well. The one that I'm most impressed with is their League Pass broadband, which they've offered on NBA.com for several years, where you can subscribe to watch all games live streaming online, but now you can also get them on your phone, which is pretty impressive. Obviously, if you know anything about Turner Sports, their forte is broadcasting. They run TNT and TBS in the U.S. I don't know if those stations are kind of, okay. So they have really ramped up our video offerings, providing extensive highlight packages after every game. They also have built out an enormous video library that all the teams have access to, so we can immediately go online and search for all of Steve Nash's passes against the Portland Trail Blazers in 2005. And it'll pull up just highlights of each one of his passes against them. It's an incredible tool, and we have access to that to pull off any kind of highlights we want to build our own packages, whether for features or just highlight reels. Really impressive. They've also used the same technology that they were using on CNN.com for their videos to build an elaborate video player that all of the teams have access to, as well as NBA.com. And it's got a whole publishing system that we use, and as the Bulls example here shows, an embeddable video player that we can use throughout the site. So that's really been a big help for us as well. Video is really probably the one thing that we've been strongest at the Phoenix Suns over the last 5 or 6 years. We were the first team to actually post a video clip on our website, I want to say in 1997. It was about a 10-second clip that was about that big on the screen and was real choppy and blurry, but it was one of our European players that we had drafted. It was a video of him dunking over a Volkswagen. So, and it got watched a ton, so immediately we thought, wow, this is really cool. We need to put more video on our site. We were also the first team to do a live press conference, stream a live press conference when we signed Steve Nash in 2004. We were the first team to introduce our own online talk show in 2004, which was called Nothing But Net, and we did a weekly show online with one of our alumni players as well as one of our WNBA players from the Women's League, and they would talk about the team, what's going on that week. They'd bring a player on as a guest and sit down sort of in a Tonight Show format on a couch, and we just celebrated our 100th episode this season, so that's still going well. But I think the strongest thing we've done in terms of video, and the thing that's received the most attention from our fans and that our fans really appreciate the most, is our behind-the-scenes content. We have a really unique situation in pro sports, at least in the States, in that our team president, our general managers, our head coaches, they've all bought into what we're doing on digital, on the website, and they've given us incredible access that most teams do not have. So we are, for instance, able to go inside and shoot practice when the rest of the media is not there. We're able to shoot video. We're able to go inside the locker room and shoot the coach's post-game speech to his players after each playoff game. We're in the draft war room on draft night, which again is typically closed off to everybody because they don't want anything to leak out in terms of what they're talking about. We are able to ride on the team plane, a charter plane, during the playoffs, and we shoot video on the plane and do interviews of players in their seats, or film them eating their elaborate meals, and they're playing poker on the plane, and shoot them at the team hotel. And we've done things like the MTV Cribs show. We've done that with our website called Suns Home Court, where we go to the players' homes and we'll spend 2 hours interviewing them at their home and walking around their whole house, where they talk about different trophies they have or pictures of them with their kids or parents as, growing up. And it really provides our fans with a unique perspective to our team, and fans feel much more connected to our players because they know who they are now off the court as well. And you just can't get that stuff from our local newspaper website. You can't get it from ESPN.com. You can't get it from NBA.com. So it's really set us apart in terms of Suns digital online. Fans know to come to our site if they want content about the team rather than those other big brands.